Smart people understand one powerful truth. Not everyone deserves access to their peace. They know that toxic people are fueled by drama, chaos, manipulation, and emotional control. So when a wise person encounters toxic behavior, they don't respond with emotional reactions. They respond with strategy, distance, and clarity. They protect their mental space the way a king protects a kingdom, carefully, intentionally, and without hesitation. A smart person never wastes time trying to fix someone who is committed to misunderstanding them. Toxic people are not interested in truth, clarity, or resolution. They thrive on confusion, arguments, and emotional battles. So smart people don't try to prove themselves. They don't argue to be understood. They don't fight to be right. They choose peace over winning a pointless argument. They choose silence over emotional exhaustion. Smart people treat toxic people with calm distance. They limit conversations, reduce emotional access, and stop oversharing. They know that toxic people use information as ammunition, twisting words and collecting secrets to use later. So the wise protect their privacy. They keep their life quiet, their plans invisible, and their emotions guarded. Wise people observe patterns. Words can lie, but patterns never do. They watch how someone behaves when they're angry, jealous, or not getting what they want. Toxic people reveal their nature through their reactions. They show their true intentions through envy, manipulation, disrespect, and chaos. So instead of ignoring the signs, smart people pay attention and adjust their boundaries accordingly. A smart person does not react to every provocation. Toxic people love reactions. They feed off emotional responses. They want you angry, upset, confused, or defending yourself. So instead of engaging in emotional battles, the wise respond with emotional neutrality. They speak calmly, they answer briefly, and they remain consistent. Their lack of reaction frustrates the toxic person because it denies them the control they crave. Smart people do not play the toxic person's game. They refuse to be pulled into guilt trips, emotional threats, silent treatments, or mind games. Instead, they stay rooted in logic and self-respect. They know they're not responsible for someone else's insecurities, assumptions, or emotional immaturity. So they refuse to carry burdens that do not belong to them. A wise person understands that not every conflict deserves attention. Toxic people argue to dominate, not to resolve. They twist conversations so they come out as victims, even when they caused the problem. So smart people don't explain themselves endlessly. They don't engage in circular discussions. They don't correct every lie. They choose to walk away and protect their peace. Smart people treat toxic people with boundaries. Real, firm, non-negotiable boundaries. They limit access. They reduce communication. They remove emotional openings. They don't allow toxic people to get close enough to cause damage. And if a toxic person tries to break those boundaries, the wise respond with even more distance. When toxic people lie, manipulate, exaggerate, or twist reality, smart people don't fight desperately to prove the truth. They understand that you cannot reason with someone who benefits from the lie. So the wise stop defending themselves to dishonest people. They let the truth speak with time. They let people reveal themselves. They know that eventually every mask falls. A wise person knows how to disconnect without creating drama. They don't announce their distance. They don't warn you they're leaving. They simply reduce their presence. They become emotionally unreachable. They spend less time, give shorter responses, invest less energy, and allow the toxic person to fade from their life naturally. Smart people treat toxic people with emotional control. They don't raise their voice, they don't retaliate, they don't insult, they maintain composure, even when provoked. Their self-control is their armor. Their silence is their sword. Their calmness is their shield. This calmness destroys toxic people because chaos cannot survive in the presence of emotional discipline. Smart people also refuse to take insults personally. They know that toxic people project their fears, insecurities, failures, and jealousy onto others. So instead of absorbing the negativity, the wise reflect it back with understanding. They know that what a toxic person says about you actually reveals more about them. A wise person does not chase closure. Toxic people will never give genuine apology, accountability, or honesty. So smart people close the door themselves. They choose to move forward without waiting for explanations. They refuse to let a toxic person keep them emotionally trapped. Smart people know when to walk away completely, not temporarily, not halfway, completely. They don't keep toxic connections alive. They don't revisit harmful relationships. They don't reopen doors that once brought them pain. They understand that walking away is the ultimate act of self-respect. It's the moment they choose themselves. Wise individuals understand that toxic people often play victim the moment you set boundaries. They accuse you of being cold, distant, or selfish. But the wise don't fall for guilt manipulation. They continue protecting their peace because they know toxic people fear anyone they can't control. Smart people become unpredictable around toxic people. They don't reveal their thoughts, emotions, or plans. They stop giving the toxic person anything they can use against them. They remain mysterious. They speak only when necessary. They give no clues. This unpredictability removes the toxic person's power. A wise person knows how to stay physically present, but emotionally absent. When they cannot avoid the toxic individual due to work, family, or environment, they remain detached internally. They don't absorb energy, don't personalize behavior, and don't give emotional access. They remain cool, calm, and distant. Smart people choose their confidants carefully. They don't vent to toxic people. They don't share their dreams, relationships, struggles, or weaknesses. They understand that toxic people pretend to listen but secretly hope for failure. So the wise keep their life private and protected. Wise individuals understand that healing requires distance. When they step away from toxic people, their energy rises, their clarity returns, and their confidence grows. They feel lighter. They feel stronger. They feel like themselves again. That peace confirms they made the right decision. Smart people treat toxic people with exactly what they earned. Nothing. No access, no reaction, no explanation, no emotional connection, just calm distance and quiet boundaries. They give respect to those who give respect, but they give distance to those who give chaos. A wise person knows that toxic people fear one thing more than anything: a person who is no longer emotionally available, someone who no longer reacts, someone who is unbothered, someone who has detached. That is the moment the toxic person loses their power. Smart people win not by fighting toxic people, but by becoming unreachable to them. They rise above the drama. They elevate their energy. They protect their peace like treasure. They understand that not everyone deserves a seat at their table, access to their mind, or entrance into their heart. And at the end of the day, the strongest move a smart person can make is choosing peace over people, distance over drama, healing over chaos, and silence over every toxic battle. That is how smart people treat toxic people: with wisdom, boundaries, calmness, emotional discipline, and the strength to walk away without ever looking back.